Hey guys, NXJ here. It's been a while since I made one of these videos. So in this not a guide video, we're gonna do the Neo Exdeath trial. I'll briefly explain my setup and then what I did at each stage. The trial itself is broken into two stages. Stage 1 is kind of like the death stage where Neo Exdeath will randomly target your slot 1, 5, and 6. And then he'll kill slot 4 on turn 3, slot 1 on turn 6. And then again he'll kill slot 6, I believe, in a random slot on turn 9. And then stage 2 will be more like a survival status. I'll explain more of it as we get to it. So this is my party setup. I went with Bards as our main DPS. We had a breaker using Lid, just because she has Entrust. 2 healers, Aerith and CJ Fina, and our magic tank. So our magic tank has our Genji shield and pretty high light resistance. I want to say like maybe like around 150 should be good. And we're also using Fina's elemental buff too, and that's gonna be mainly used in the second stage. So Bart's gonna be our main DPS, so all we're gonna really basically do is just power up his job level, and then we'll start using his cooldowns and his abilities as the fight progresses. What you're actually watching is a recording of this trial when I did it last week. So I'll walk you through it and my thinking and how I approach this fight. What I mainly did with my magic tank was just magic cover and then put our mitigation up when available. And then as for Lid, we want to keep her break up, and then when we don't need to use our break, we can always transfer the LB to Aerith like what I just did now. And Aerith just keep up the re-raise on our tank just in case, and then we're gonna heal. And Fina is pretty much a flex position. You can either use a different unit here, but I find that having an extra Entrust her LB actually helps a lot in phase 2. And her ability to give you element up actually helps the whole party reduce the damage in stage 2. But I mean, you can use a finisher if you want, or use a second tank. That slot is actually flexible. So we're approaching turn 3. This is where at the end of this turn, on the start of his turn, Neo Exdeath will actually kill off our unit in slot 4. I purposely put Lid there because I don't really... I mean, we have our breaks up, and then I don't mind that if she dies, we could just re-raise her or raise her the next turn, and just that wouldn't affect our party as much. And notice how I also put our tank in slot 1. She's also gonna get killed off on turn 6, which is also fine too as well, because as long as we have our re-raise up, we don't have to worry about wiping. And I find that that's easier because she has the Genji shield, so she'll be randomly taking the death effect here and there, which is easier to control. As you see, Lid just got killed off. So after I got the masterclass buffed on Bard, I started doing add the element to our weapons, wind element, and we're gonna lower the wind resistance for the boss. That's why I did the 2 moves. The nice thing about this setup is if your magic tank is alive, her counters will actually give you a lot of LB crystals for Lid and Fina, so you can always entrust into your Aerith, which actually will help you a lot in phase 2. So now we're going to use this cooldown ability, 84 MP, just to set up for Brave Blade for next turn on Bards. And what you also want to notice too is I'm saving up my LBs for a lot of my units just so we have it ready set for stage 2. I'm also getting the Aerith's cooldown ready just in case we do kill the boss this turn, which actually does happen, so I'm going to use that just to get our HP and MP filled up and get ready for the next stage. What I would change about this going into stage 2 was I would better off have Lid's LB full before we enter that stage. We just probably got unlucky with the crystals. Because usually with the opening of this stage I burn all my LBs on the initial turn 1 just to have everything set up. So, but I don't have Lid's LB up, so we went with like the smaller break. And just like the first stage, we're gonna power up our job levels with Bart just to get the buffs up, or the passives up. And the thing with this stage is it's more about status effect than survival. Like that, we're gonna take really strong initial damage, and our tank's usually most likely gonna die every turn. And throughout this stage, he does lower our resistance to status effects, which will randomly could confuse or stone any party member, apply disease. And Aerith in this stage actually helps a lot with her LB. We'll put a re-raise on all our unit and I'll remove the status effect. So what I did here is I've abused the entrust mechanic from Lid and Fina. So whenever our parties get status effect, we'll transfer the LB or use Aerith as LB, and then we'll transfer a new LB gauge to her just to have it ready for the next turn. Also, Fina allows you to have a second healer to dispel any status effect on your units. And you also want to make sure you keep a breakup with your Lid or your breaker. It will help a lot with the damage this stage. But other than that, the whole stage is pretty much managing the status effect and dealing damage with Bart. And once he gets below 20%, he actually does a lot of single target attacks. Like I want to say 6 attacks, which actually could potentially kill 1 unit per attack. And at that point, if you can't kill him in 1 turn from 20%, you can actually pretty much cheese through that mechanic with Aerith's LB. You'll see more of that as we get closer. Keep your magic cover up and your damage mitigation on your tank. Most likely your tank will die, but as long as you have re-raise up on your party, you should be okay. I think in this part of the stage is more of a race to 20 turns. And there you see me transfer the LB to Aerith. And here we go, we set up our wind elements. Doing the 52 into 56. So that puts the wind element on our attack, and then it lowers the wind resistance by 120% on the boss. I think what you saw there is that the AoE, I believe it's light damage. So if you have Fina, it actually helps putting a little bit light resist on the whole party just to reduce the damage a little bit. The nice thing about having a second healer with Fina is she can also remove status effects. See how the whole party is silenced? Aerith does the same thing too. The only hard part about this fight is the RNG. If you're really unlucky, your healers get petrified or your DPS gets confused and starts killing off your units. This is pretty much a wipe, but other than the RNG from that, this setup is actually pretty solid for this encounter. Because once you get Bart's rotation in, get his blade going, it's actually pretty easy to get to 20%. The boss also does some dispels too, so keep a mind out for checking up your units, see if your tank has their cover up or if they have their re-raise up on them. Sometimes you might just have to reapply it, because the boss does dispel. So with Bart, the way I use him was I get him to job master 3, then I start using his 52, 56 MP skills just to get the wind resist, and then we go into his 84, I believe, MP cooldown to unlock Brave Blade, and then we do Brave Blade. That's how we get most of our damage, and then after that we just pretty much repeat that rotation for Bart, minus the getting to master class, because his buffs already stayed on unless he dies. And the stage is pretty simple. Just make sure your team has cover. Re-raise on all your party. Your healer is mostly dispelling status effect and mitigation or heal. Element resist if possible, and then have your breakers always have a breakup. And just slowly chip at the boss. And as far as the mission goes, you're supposed to kill him under 20 turns to get the ability, and a kill with an LB, and then attack him with Darkened Wind. Wind's already covered by Bart. Oh, for dark damage, I think I equipped my my lid with a dark weapon. And then what you see here is you can also chain with your Barts and finish LB with your lid to get the LB kill. But in this situation, I don't believe I did that, because I think I tried to kill him with Bart's LB and it failed. You'll see a little bit of that later. And then since we're under 20%, you're going to see him do a lot of the single target attack. The thing about this phase is as long as you have re-raise up on your party, it's actually pretty easy to get through. So you can abuse it with Aerith. So just transfer all the LB crystals to her, and as long as you have a re-raise up, you'll be fine. You can either use it off LB's, Aerith's LB or Venus LB to get the re-raise up. The only difference with Aerith's LB is the status removal, and then and the heal that comes along with it. And see, we're only on turn 13, which allows us a lot of time. So I mean, we used to have 7 turns if we had to like slow play this phase. No, this is what I was talking about earlier. I thought I could have killed him with Bart's LB. But I overestimated his LB's potential. It's a good finishing skill, but it doesn't really do much when you just do it without a chain. Probably would have saved a couple minutes by just chaining with him and finishing LB with Lid. I think I just tried to see if I could kill him with Venus LB too, but that didn't work. But yeah, overall this trial wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty fun. Get to test out some new Final Fantasy V units, which is always fun for a trial. And then that's it for this trial. If you guys have any other questions, I mean, you guys could feel free to ask in a comment. You guys could check my Twitch out because I do streams here and there. Drop by, say hi. Or if you want to see any other trials, just let me know in the comments below. Alright, that's it. You guys take care.